Ever wonder if our assignment here will never end? Like our employment contracts.
Every time I think I'm having a bad day, I just tell myself, wait till tomorrow. It'll probably be worse.
Ah, Inez. Have you come back for a tune-up? I've got just the injection for that. Freezes those pesky muscles right back into place.
No, yeah, a tune-up sounds good. I got a device that might help stabilize what I got going on up on the shoulder. Ought to let me use my graft all the more often. Think you can install it?
Oh, well, this device is unusual and rather ingenious, if I may say so. Hold still, dear. This should take but a moment. There. I dare say you won't be needing any tune-ups in the near future. But I do trust you'll find an excuse to come by for the occasional visit. Where did you find such a device, anyhow? What is it, dear? You look, well, a bit like you've been stung by a terror ray. I've got ointment for that too, you know.
There's a grafting lab way out on Cloister that was still operational. Till recently. I found it, Doc. And... law. I ain't seen any horrors like that.
Still operating? Inez, do you feel all right? The program was shut down more than 6 months ago. Any further funding would be in direct violation of Auntie's orders.
I know what I saw. They were brutalizing folk and creatures. Paying them no mind, giving them no honor, even if they succumb to the process. The doctor there, he killed a friend of mine. And you're telling me you knew nothing of it?
Inez, I swear I didn't. That sounds... oh, Sovereign's mercy, that sounds precisely like what I would protest with every breath.
The creatures they were experimenting on broke out of their cages, killed most of the staff. But you know what's worse? Keeping a dead soldier's body on display. Like a thing. I found the doctor in charge, still alive, cowering. I killed him, and let his sick aims die along with him. There's no good that can come of his work. Nothing.
But this ain't the extent of it, I fear. I need to find out who's responsible for all this.
Oh, Inez, I know you do. But with the program officially shuttered, it would be awfully difficult to ascertain which individual has the pockets to fund such a... Wait. Yes, that does shed light on a correspondence I received recently. A vice president sent a message asking for my presence and scientific expertise to discuss a unique opportunity. I found the secrecy odd at the time, but I do suppose it lines up with your discovery.
Ain't surprising. What's his name? Where can we find him?
His name is Willard Conan, VP of Experimental Operations. The very man who was in charge of the grafting program at its inception. He's... oh, I know that look. If you mean to do something, I beg you.
Doc, with all due respect, what I do with him when I get there is my own damn business.
I will help you. Vice President Conan's office is aboard the Undisputed Claim, the flagship of Auntie's Choice. I do not know where exactly, as I've never been, but it's my understanding that you will need to present this calling card to gain entry. Inez, all I ask is that you remain safe. A terrible wrong has been done, but do not throw your life away to right it. You might seek justice via other means.
I can't promise anything, Doc, but I'll try. Thank you for everything.
Fortune! Our technician manifests at last. Halt there. You match the description of the technician we have been vigilantly awaiting, but as they say, assumptions made are mistakes readied. Present yourself, so that I may take the measure of you.
That's right. A dismantling at this scale? Why, that could cause a cascade effect resulting in total deorbit of the whole Hyperion.
What? Spare me your technical argot and hop to it then!
Commander, I've been thinking. Can I bend your ear a moment? We got the intel we need, Commander. The undisputed claims our destination. When we find Willard and stop this law-damned program in its tracks, Auntie's Choice will get what's coming to them. Been doing some thinking about ending the grafting program for good. It's gotta happen. I just didn't think it would start this way. With me turning murderer. Auntie had me good and fooled. She ain't any better than Spacer's Choice. Making any of them see reason is an impossibility. Our overlords had a saying in Tau Ceti. If you got a rabid canid, you put it down before it maddens the whole pack. They used to say it about us workers, like we were the problem. It was terrifying. But now I reckon I see some sense in that saying. Retribution never came for the folk at the top back then, but it certainly can now. What if I think I already have? I wonder if this is what Ortiz had in mind when he sent me that message. He trusted my judgment, knew I always aimed to do right by him and folk everywhere, but he also knew both of us had been lied to when we joined up. The notion that our taking extraordinary risks would pay dividends. Do you think he knew this would be the final straw? Yeah? I'm gonna cling to that notion for a while, if you don't mind. Maybe this is what folk mean by the architects setting things in motion. If I hadn't broken my contract, I wouldn't be here. Maybe proving myself was never the intention. Maybe this is what I was meant to do. Suppose we're fixing to find out.
took what nature heedlessly assembled and bestly rebettered it through artificial means. And at his choice, we strive to be 110% wholly plus artificial. Artificiality. Our guiding principle. Enjoy an artificially enhanced existence through the conspicuous consumption of unavoidable embedded chemicals. With Auntie's choice.
Overnight, and moved away, stubborn wrinkles.
ᴘᴜᴇᴅᴜ, arriving any moment now. Approaching station. Client intake.
Antibiotics and convenient injection packaging.
Starting with Dr. Giles Rasmussen, demoted from the and clearly unimportant position within experimental operations. Welcome to your new role. Sanit. Manager. Next, we have Reginald Oswald in proprietary insight acquisition, demoted for playing confidential logs in a paid public toilet. Not what I mean when I encourage working on the go. Perhaps a strategic step backward to Document Index Manager will refresh your info security fundamentals, Reggie. Congrats! You're now a file clerk. Clerk those files. Next is Elise Ripshaw in product development. Remember, Elise, when you told colleagues over drinks at the bottom runner that I was, quote, long in the tooth and short on ideas? Then you agonized for weeks that your comment might get back to me. Gnawing at your guts. Your new role as integrating specialist will be far less stressful. Oh, I just received an addendum on a late-breaking and quite literal termination.
Welcome to Head Office Tower. Again.
We're back. We understand you've been a very busy little manty-was. Well, out with it.
Yes, time is bits. Tell us how it went.
A satisfactory effort, my ameliorator. I had hopes your talents would yield a result a mite more in our favor, but good work overall.
Well, I suppose I can't argue with the truth of that.
Anything else you'd like to report? Now that's the compelling attitude we love to see in an ameliorator. Your performance at that facility went exceedingly well, all things considered, and it was an ideal first step in affecting my monopolistic mercantile methodology plan.
There you go again, pinning your career to that flim-flam mathematical malarkey. What do a bunch of eggheads know about marketing? Marketing isn't some rigmarole you can plug into a computronic doodad. It's instinct, intuition, know-how. It's a fucking art. Damn right. Of course. We're Auntie's choice. We know what motivates people better than they do. Real marketing is gut-driven. It's not something you think about, it's something you feel. That is, convince someone to feel.
It is an intricately crafted, multi-phase marketing initiative that will introduce Auntie's Choice to the rest of the galaxy and establish the foothold of our pending monopoly. It requires a series of daring, almost impossibly savvy, perfectly timed, and flawlessly executed stratagems to create optimal market positioning.
Whole thing's a load of bunco. Calculatory claptrap from a bunch of overeducated know-nothings who are so smart they're stupid. Go ahead. Tell them who devised it.
With pleasure! The archive on Cloister analyzed millions of variables with bazillions of permutations to create an idealized path for total competitive domination. Yes, suppose we should move on. Ursula, will you do the honors?
I'm the head of our proprietary insight acquisition division. Stealing our rivals' trade secrets? That's our bread and butter. We can sometimes lack a certain subtlety, though. The Protectorate have a process called mental refreshment. Some kind of mind manipulation business. There's a facility for it on Praetor. And he wants details on their methodology, pharmacology, and technology. This archive plan says it's important. Fine. Auntie and I agree it presents possibilities. Actually, it's only 3. Surely you can handle twice that many tasks. I don't want to sound like the Order, but you could make a list, maybe. A few aspirational goals, if possible. If you see a chance to talk their lead scientist into joining us, and/or dig up additional details about the process, do so.
Which is to say, we'll make it more worth your while. I promise you'll never want for compensation while in our employ.
See you when it's done.
It's high time one of you scientist types responded to my calling cards. The position's been open for more than 2 days, and already productivity is tanked by 149.4%. You want the role, it's yours, but I'm not budging on those hourly rates.
Let me guess. You're backfilling Rasmussen's position? Or all the scientists who work with him on Cloister lying cold on the lab floor?
Both, obviously. Unless you mean to tell me a graft like yours can install itself. Do you want the job or not? We're burning starlight.
I do. Been waiting on this moment. This grafting program is a law-damned abomination. I went to your lab on Cloister, saw for myself what kind of depravity your folk got up to there. It's sick. My friend was butchered by Rasmussen. And he wasn't the only one. In fact, this program's been a sham from the start. I got tossed aside, and for what? A mistake? Ain't nothing good that's come of this. It's time to call it quits.
What a preposterous notion. Shall we stop producing inhalers because of side effects? Or shut down all food factories because one severed appendage finds its way into packaging? No, certainly not. I am not to blame for whatever inconvenience you experienced as a first edition patient. To quit now would be to toss aside all our progress. Oh, please. You don't even know half of my plans for this project. But if you did, you'd certainly want in.
Don't matter to me what your plans are, or what you think you might accomplish. You've hurt too many good folk, and I've had enough.
I fear you've gotten too negative an impression of this work. Hear me out, will you? Allow me to assuage those fears. My mind is not entirely consumed by capital, I assure you. It's also consumed with professional pride and self-preservation. We cannot speak of sensitive business details here. There's no telling which opportunistic colleague or overpaid contractor could be listening in. They would ruin me. Ruin me! Meet me in back deck steerage. Take this pass for the tram. And for law's sake, make sure no hanger-on follows you. Especially that assistant of mine next door. Chin up, dear. I believe I'll change your mind yet.
We'll see. This song and dance from all manner of suits before. Reckon he'll try to reel us into a ridiculous scheme or bribe us with bits or booze or what have you. But this'll make it easy.
Choice swollen-headed mascot represents the worst impulses of operations who unfairly stacked the deck against the little. Live, love, laugh, purchase, and consume
nothing to hit.
With Auntie's choice. As your peerless leader, known for her unparalleled business acumen, I might appear above the occasional frivolity. But no, I do enjoy spectating a rousing sporting match as much as all of you base rank and file. The Big Rift cut off tossball news from home, but our Arcadia Great is a worthy substitute.
You came. Foolish, aren't you? Thinking I'd reveal my secrets to the likes of you. Ha! Contractors, now's your chance. First one to kill these imbeciles gets a one-time immune assault discount.
Give the order and I'll take care of him, Commander.
come through, my good Biff? That discount will be applied to your next purchase at the commissary, but cannot be combined with other... Ah! You're still alive!
Ain't gonna be that easy to get rid of us, you idiot. This how you treat all folk who approach you in good faith?
No folk have ever made it this far. How did you get past all my contractors? They were heavily trained and heavily expensive.
They were about half as coordinated as a herd of sprats, and just as threatening.
Do not make a mockery of the dead. They were all someone's children, partners, and investments. So what do you want? Allow me to guess. Money? We all want money. And I've plenty, I assure you.
Spotted. He really thought he could fight us off. Damn fool. But this ain't over yet. Once news of Willard's departure gets out, there'll be dozens of rung climbers jockeying for his place and to steal his legacy for their own. Which means they can continue his bastardization of a grafting program and make it all the worse if they so choose. Ain't about to let that happen. Ain't suggesting. I'm telling you that we can't stand by and do nothing. It's obvious he was up to his neck in some scheme. If we dig it up and get the word out, his legacy will be in shreds. Maybe folk will be less inclined to follow in his footsteps. I don't know. Folk here are a whole lot more callous than I'd anticipated. Look how they treat the contractors, the down-and-outers. Who's to say that hearing some sob story won't just make them shrug and be thankful they ain't involved? All right, we ought to see if he's got anything of note on his person, and then his office. Any evidence we can find regarding money or business dealings could be of value. Once we got what we need, we can head to the recording studio to get the word out. The promise of a scandal should be enough to get in the door.
Embedded chemicals with this choice. Always remember, commercialism is the foundation that Auntie's Choice Society is based upon. Not because we worship bits, but because of the system's glorious efficacy. While the Protectorate decide what its subjects get, we respond to what you want through your decisions as consumers. What's more, we skip the frivolously lengthy approval process our overbearing neighbors employ. Why wait 20 years to bring a new product to market when it can be enhancing people's lives now? Allow you. Hard in public testing, respecting your right to risk a few pesky side effects as an early adopter. At Auntie's Choice, we understand.
You cannot be here. My contract stipulates that this lab door remains locked at all times. I am not to be disturbed. Ha! That's funny, considering the heaps of times I've been called such.
I'm here to tell you that your treacherous fiend of a boss is now out of commission, and I'm investigating all of his indiscretions. You wouldn't happen to know about any unsanctioned business dealings, would you?
Ah, I'm afraid I can't help with that. I've only spoken with him once, upon my hiring. Well, yes, but not here or face-to-face. I was to have all communications sent to a private room at the Best Choice. He held all his business dealings and records therein. I gather he was circumventing intellectual property taxes or some such.
The Best Choice. That's the lounge for VIPs, looking out over the Esplanade, if I'm remembering right. We might pay it a visit. Oh, law. That room is what he meant by the carousal corner in that terminal entry, isn't it?
If that's all, I'll thank you kindly for closing the door when you leave.
As consumers. What's more, we skip the frivolously lengthy approval process our overbearing neighbors...
It's the burning sensation on everyone's tongue and upper GI tract. The Raptidon bite. Exclusively at the bottom rungger. With the toxin in it.
Yes, I understand I may look in charge, but I'm just minding the desk for our esteemed director. The real talent, as they say.
I need to get a message on the broadcast, urgently. Can you help with that?
Not unless you need any clever pointers on enunciation. Our director, however, is in one of the recording booths, through the door to your left. You'll want to speak with her.
Welcome to Wireless Free Arcadia Studios. Thessaly Falk, Director of Talent Placation and General Runnings. Here to contract a recording or in the market for autographs?
Holt sent me to speak with you. I got a message I'd like to send out over the wireless. Trust me, this is one all the folk in Auntie's Choice won't want to miss.
Is that so? Well, the more riveting the content, the larger our commissions. However, as you're without an appointment and I'm quite busy, I'm afraid I've only time to record one take. Do make it count. Shall we begin?
Glad we're in agreement. I'm here to expose the truth about a prominent vice president. His business dealings are not what they seem.
That's quite the bold claim. Now remember to speak into the mic, dear. Enunciate clearly, but with feeling. Inhabit the words. Be the message. Joining us today in the studio is a very special guest and rare specimen indeed, a grafted soldier. And one who alleges that one of Auntie's own vice presidents is not who he seems. Take it away.
Inez Seelong speaking. I got intel on an illegal program led by Vice President of Experimental Operations, Willard Conan. Folk aplenty suffered because of it.
Some say there cannot be success without suffering. It's more or less standard operating procedure, isn't it? Unless you're leaving out any gory details?
He was running a lab on Cloister that very few even knew of, and grafted even more folk illegally in that butcher shop. But if that ain't incriminating enough for you, Willard had himself some money problems, which ain't too distant from a grave sin far as Auntie's concerned.
Ah, now we're getting somewhere. Tell me, did he squander all his bits on drink? Bet it all on a tarmac and cheese rebranding? Or worse? Thoroughly recount every lurid detail?
I imagine it was so he could keep his illegal program running, but ain't clear on where the money came from, which I reckon was by design.
Well, that tells us nothing. Under-the-table deals are commonplace and encouraged within Auntie's choice. You're very new to this kind of business, aren't you? Your disclosure wasn't as iniquitous or revelatory as you implied. The only thing shocking was your abundant naivete.
Commander, I don't think we did enough. Law. I know we ain't gonna know for sure until the broadcast airs, but we oughta go.
Oh, Inez, almost forgot. We have a bit of a goodie bag for special guests who visit the studio. You qualify. Do collect it from the front desk on your way out.
When you're shopping for the best products at the lowest prices.
No autographs, I'm afraid. Not outside of special appearances.
That money can buy.
Normally I would,
So she made sure every Auntie's...
Have time for a chat, Commander? Commander, you hear my interview over the wireless too? They've been playing it every hour. Part of it, anyway. I really thought I'd be heard out, telling folk about Willard and his damned awful dealings. Instead, Thessaly herself thought to mock me. I can't reckon with it. To you, maybe. But to a lot of folks, she tells it like it is. And they listen. I ain't meaning to say I don't appreciate your help, Commander. I do. Guess I was just hoping that we'd have done enough to keep more folk from getting hurt, like Ortiz did. This was my fight. The blame lays with me, if it's to lay with anyone. I still feel like a fool sometimes. I spent so much law-damn time begging to be validated by Auntie's choice and her leaders. Like I was worth only what they thought of me. I really believed when I ended my contract that a better life was possible. I know the truth about Auntie's choice now. And I know who I am. So yeah, a better life is possible. Just not at someone else's mercy. I ain't gonna let myself or anyone else be led into the same trap they set for us. Ever again. I will, Commander. Anyhow, that's enough sorting my thoughts for the moment. We got a galaxy to save.
going to lend a hand at the exclusion zone. Tend to the injuries, as you can.
The Protectorate have only been told a watered-down revision of Order philosophy. Here!
Ah, I didn't expect us to wander into the scene of a murder, but somehow I'm not entirely surprised. Anomalous events have a way of spreading, multiplying. We should find a way inside. There might be clues to what happened, and where Anaïs's research is now. They should have been sealed in that room to focus on their studies uninterrupted. No one in or out. I'd suspect the missing anchorite knows something, at least. We should ask her. Might be some signs in there of where she went. The terminal at Winter's Grasp said Anaïs's work was sent here. There might be signs of that, or where the missing anchorite got off to. We should keep looking. There may be more to learn here. I've had a chance to look around. You seem like you've done a thorough sweep. We should discuss what we've uncovered. Poor thing. Blunt force trauma to the occipital lobe, I believe. Possible signs of an altercation. Might have been an accident. Might not have been. Hard to say with just a superficial glance. At the very least, her cloistermate Anchor's Brun has some explaining to do. A disputation of current order methodology. Focuses mainly on our presiding bishop, but saves ample room for the laureate council and previous regime as well. I believe I got the gist by efficiently skimming. The general concern is that the order has lost its way. My old department is repeatedly mentioned in a favorable light. Anaïs's work is regarded highly. I saw that. I believe it was Anchoress Chow's diary. Spoke about regular visits by an exemplar Southworth who requested access to Anaïs's work. Chow seemed worried they were conspiring about something. That they'd mentioned an old order research station. That old research facility seems the most likely spot to look next. I know the coordinates on Eden, placed by the name of Point Obviation. I don't know what happened to Anchoress Chow, but leaving a body behind is suspicious, and the disputation reads like a call to arms for any fringe thinkers in the Order. There's no destroying the copies at this point, I'm afraid. We're past that. The research is out there. We need a way to keep anyone from taking it up further in the future. If we go in guns blazing from here, it will only continue. We need a plan to annihilate the idea. I've seen it happen. Things can take on a life of their own at a certain point. The more overt the response, the more unexpected the outcomes. We developed tactics at the Department of Preemptive Causal Redirection to minimize unforeseeable consequences. We can discuss once we see the situation on the ground. Yes, time to seek out Anchoress Brun. Halt! Bye-bye. Cease any and all manner of perambulation. Don't know who you all are, but unexpected guests are categorically unwelcome here. How'd you even find this place? Maybe I should just shoot you and glean details from your logs.
Ah, exemplar, if I may. Surely you recognize such a notable member of our cohort, Marisol Delgado. The end point?
I can't recall if I ended whoever came up with that name. Surely hope so.
You were head causality intercessor of the Department of Preemptive Causal Redirection, right up till the end, correct?
More or less.
Well, what a fortuitous alignment of low-probability events this is. Our efforts here are based on your former department. You should confer with Anchoress Brunn straight away.
We actually sought to find you and others of your program, Intercessor Delgado. A serendipitous event, you arriving. Assuming you'll vouchsafe for your colleagues, you may all proceed. You'll find Wilhelmina up the lift, 4th floor.
Welcome to Point Obviation.
Anchoress Brunn is continuing Anais' research from Winter's Grasp. I'm sure of it. Best play along for now, until we can ascertain the best course of action.
Playing along. Duration indeterminate.
Look, everyone! It's the endpoint. Come to join us. No sudden moves. Gradual movements only, please.
Please don't take me on a co-tangent.
I am a longtime vocal exponent of your work, Intercessor Delgado. I hope you don't mind me saying. Go on up. You're expected.
Anchorites are reclusive and highly regarded in Order Society. Anchoress Brunn's presence here indicates the importance of this facility.
Yeah! Yeah!
Oh, who's this? Oh, yes, I remember you. We met earlier at the site of my former seclusion. I've heard much of your exploits since. If I recall correctly, you helped me prove my argument that pacifism always presents the best options. I admit I have modified that opinion slightly since then. I understand you allowed Seer Wily to go free, yes? Once was a time I would have made that exact same decision. And as for you, I've been informed that you're Marisol Delgado. I've read your file. An impressive body of work, though often quite mortiferously inclined.
Less so over time. There were too many pesky repercussions, I came to find.
Yes, well, to what do we owe the pleasure? Are you familiar with our goals? Come to join up, perhaps, or should I say re-enlist? A truly unfortunate accident. I had posted my disputation and stated my intention to leave. We argued heatedly. Objects were thrown. She stumbled and fell badly. We try to honor her loss. Such tragedy only underlines the importance of our endeavors here. Each day the equation remains unsolved, countless more tragedies occur. We must succeed at the soonest possible haste. You saw the disputation, though. Tell me, what did you think? You read it, yes? The longer the mistakes of our presiding bishop persist, the longer calamity and sorrow will continue. Our sect aims to end human suffering, sooner than later. We've taken great inspiration from your former department, from their methods and their science. To solve the universal equation in our lifetime requires bold action, clever calculation, and assiduous work. Yes, we have Grace, that is, Exemplar Southworth, to thank for that. Her visits to the anchor hold were quite thought-provoking, as was the research she showed me from Sia Bujold. Bujold's thinking was unconventional, ahead of her time. Why, in fact, she's here with us now today, overseeing an experiment that proves her researcher's theories.
Really? Sia Bujold is here, at present, in this facility? The one we're presently standing in?
Not long at all. We reached out to her on Cloister. She agreed to join us immediately. If you thought her work before was captivating, wait until you hear the experiment she's overseeing now. The intent is to represent the building blocks of the universe within a test chamber, then extrapolate data revealing the universal equation from the micro-universe that forms.
Sounds like it could change everything, one might say.
Why, you should go see for yourself. As former colleagues, I'm sure you'd like to reacquaint. Go on. I'll call down to let her know you're coming. Yes, she's monitoring the experiment. I'll have elevator access unlocked so you can join her. Do please stay in the observation area, though. The work is quite delicate. We'll speak further after you check over Sia Bujold's work and the experiment concludes. Oh, so exciting. How much longer do you predict preparations will take?
Almost ready. Perfect timing for my former colleague to peer review my work. Head Intercessor Delgado, what an opportune time for you to appear. At the perfect moment to assist our experiment.
What in the endless void are you?
Shh. Comms off, but others are near. I need your aid before this ridiculous affair careens into disaster. Can I rely on you this time? Or will you already intend on scurrying away again? I came to derail this line of inquiry in such a discommodious way that no one would ever consider trying it again. For all the aforementioned reasons of it likely causing, or at least queuing up and leading to, the end of all things. You chose to leave me behind, again. So when they came calling, I thought it an opportunity to sort it all myself. Yet, admittedly, At this moment, I could use your assistance.
This shouldn't be your burden. It's on me.
You don't get to decide that, or adjudicate, or coolly comment in a steely growl. Not falling for that a 10th time. Help, or stay out of my way. You don't remember us discussing this before Winter's Grasp? Too many competing crises, I guess. All right. Years ago, I was kicked out of the Order for research deemed dangerous. A means of sidestepping much of what's presumed required to solve the universal equation, using a series of reasoned shortcuts and educated postulations.
The idea was, theoretically, it would hurry the process along, so the equation could be solved in our lifetime. It was completely unorthodox.
Since then, I calculated what might occur if my work was completed. And there's a big chance of subsequent events leading to a universal end. So the stakes are everything.
When we destroyed the original copies of her research at Winter's Grasp, I discovered someone else was continuing her work, which led us here.
The test involves 4 stations. Each represents one of the fundamental building blocks of the universe. Zeranium gas, macro-ivs, nucleons, N-rays, all the usual stuff. That test chamber is where all are meant to mix. To simulate a mini-universe I can apply my theories to, pull data from, and deduce the universal equation in a reduced time frame. We know what happens if that's successful, so I need you to muck with each station's settings, then initiate the experiment. All you need to do is adjust each station's settings slightly. Things will cascade from there. Remember, subtlety is required.
Yes, if we alter the experiment input data in a less than delicate fashion, Brunn will notice, I assure you.
The guards on the 2nd floor won't appreciate visitors, so avoid getting spotted. Here's a maintenance key. Head down the vent. It's only the fate of the galaxy riding on it, so perhaps try to be careful.
Anyone else hear that? No? Oh, just me then, I see.
Enemy moving into harm's way. From me.
That is the sound of science going exceptionally well.
Indelibly eradicate algorithmic dissonance. Path to ascendancy is non-linear, so it says in a good textbook. Indelibly eradicate algorithmic dissonance.
If you're done, evaluating my work and all settings are final, enter the terminal command to void the oxygen from the test chamber. The experiment will then begin. Commendable effort, Scrap.
Did it work? Did it work? See, was it a success? What happened?
Hold the applause just yet. I need to run the numbers. I'm sending the others back up to you. They can describe the proceedings in detail.
I shall await their arrival. Anchor's Brun out. That is how these messages end, yes? If not, farewell.
The results of the experiment will be a career-ending embarrassment for Anchoress Brun. But she won't accept this lightly. We'll need to do more.
Yes, our next steps here will be crucial. I know this type of mission well. Granted, my targets were always meticulously well-researched beforehand.
You'll need to convince her, destroy her logic, end this research for good. All it requires is a forceful array of incisive argumentation, logical reasoning, coercive persuasion, and cognitive contortioning.
You mean one of our old brain-off maneuvers? Really? That's what the rank and file in our old department used to call it. Provost Bolding considered it a casual moniker unbefitting of an order scientician.
Make Brun give up on science, logic, and reason entirely. Then no one will ever dare continue the research again. Between you and Marisol, it should be a light challenge. Easy.
A brain-off against an Order anchorite isn't entirely without risk. We could employ certain other methods to deal with her. From our former department's playbook.
Oh, yes, a book you wrote titled Making an Execution Look Like an Accident. Despite the moral quandary ideally involved, unseen consequences still abound.
That's hyperbolic at best. Data suggests significantly fewer unpredicted outcomes than outright murder, if properly executed. And I'm quite capable of skewing results in our favor.
And here I thought you'd begun to change. Success isn't guaranteed. A fair degree of cleverness is required. But you would have the help of someone reasonably intellectually nimble.
I would be willing and on hand to assist. And the other option would remain if we botch it.
Demoralizing an enemy through overwhelming logic may be a preferable alternative to outright murder.
I'm not arguing it's the best option, just that it is an option. Rightly or wrongly, I am familiar with the cost involved.
The Order of the Ascendant should be dedicated to uplifting humanity, not racking up a body count unduly. Our former department was shut down for things like this. Seems reasonable. Appreciate you listening. Murder shouldn't be our first option here. Too many drawbacks, both mathematically and ethically.
Honestly, I'm relieved as well. I have been trying to be different. From the person others believe me to be.
From the legend? If you're retiring as the endpoint, we'll need to find you a colorful new sobriquet. Typical argumentation may prove useless, and she'll likely see through most attempts at deception. Be clever, unpredictable, surprise her. But in the event you should fail, you'll need a viable backup plan, or it will erase any chance of success completely. The Anchoress is housed in a test chamber similar to this one. It's been refurbished with some rather tacky furniture, but much of the old experimental apparatus remains. There is a hatch near the elevator upstairs. An external ledge leads to a vent system that can connect the two chambers. Doing so will expose the Anchoress to a lethal atmosphere. I'll need to make an announcement afterward that an accident has occurred tied into the experiment.
For an extemporaneous plan, it's not a bad one. What if the Anchoress realizes what we're doing and calls for help?
I'll cut off her comms when she begins pleading. Oh. That sounds even more heartless when I say it out loud. Please choose wisely. Here's the hatch key in case you need it. May all your endeavors elicit expected results. And Marisol, do keep out of trouble.
There you are. You saw the experiment through to the end, yes? The data hasn't arrived yet, so please do tell. Was it as beautiful as I imagined? Any inklings to the result? Or perhaps I oughtn't to have recloistered myself till after the experiment concluded, Well, don't just stand there. Tell me everything. Some issues? You seem like softening the blow. Was there a malfunction? Was there some error in the calculations? Wait. Let's start from the beginning. Step me through your understanding of what's gone awry. Not sure what gave you that impression, but I guarantee they are a hand-picked group of top-order scientists, all fiercely committed. No shirkers or malingerers among them. What else concerns you? These are all fundamental building blocks of the universe. Together, they form the primordial soup our galaxy was formed from. This is widely recognized in scientific circles. This was just a start. Such models typically make an enormous amount of errors at first. All quite expected, an anticipated setback, nothing more. It simply needs to be revised and refined. You certainly seem to be making a lot out of this, though, one must say. Now, I'm starting to believe you're just needlessly fretting. Is this nerves? I'm sorry, I don't mean to be dismissive. Look, there may be some validity to some of your points, yes. But we'll improve. We will continue to stride forward. There's absolutely no need for all this doom and gloom. I certainly wasn't calling for an optimistic reading of the research or results, or advocating for bias in any part of the work. But with the architect as my witness, I find such an accusation needlessly provocative and somewhat mean-spirited. Now, is that all? Because I think I've had enough of all this. Everything we've done here is built off Seer Bujold's research, which is quite brilliant. Well, that may be true. I may not be the researcher my colleagues are, but I'll have you know I still possess feelings and dignity. Ah, the experiment data just arrived in my terminal. Allow me to eyeball it a moment. Perhaps there's something here to help prove or disprove any of what you've been saying. There was some variance to the input data. Not far beyond acceptable parameters, but curious. Could explain the failure. Oh, come. One bad test wouldn't mean the science is completely flawed. This has been a difficult conversation. Challenging, disputatious, at times compelling. Yet I remain unswayed.
If I may, I have a point I'd like to add. There's a critical flaw in Seer Bujold's approach I think best illustrated by this English phrase. Time flies like an arrow. Fruit flies like a banana. I much appreciate this jest. Very simple, yet clever. Because in English, the word like can mean similar to or I prefer. And flies can be to soar, or plural of the insect. Through this perspective, it functions, makes sense, is humorous even. But in another language where words' meanings differ slightly, it does not. The framework we interpret the statement from changes, thus rendering it uninterpretable. False. Bujold's method of shortcutting the universal equation is much the same.
It lacks context. When you extrapolate the data from the mini-universe to the larger one, the information itself may scale correctly, but fail to interrelate. That is an interesting thought puzzle. As humorous as it is inapplicable. I remain unswayed.
We tried. Our fallback plan's our only option now. Head for the hatch.
What was that? You're starting to worry me. What do you intend to do? Ah! The experiment data just arrived in my There was some variance to the input data. Not far. Oh, come. One bad test would...
fellow scholars of the Order, a tragic accident has occurred. Occurred. During our recent experiment in test chamber beta, we failed to recognize that ventilation systems had been left connected to test chamber alpha. As you know, it had been recently refurbished as an enclosure for ᴘᴜᴇᴅᴜᴛᴜᴜ. She gave her life for science. Well, it's true that we found the related research deeply flawed, but she gave her life for the pursuit of science. As the experiment was a colossal failure, I, as senior scientist remaining, have determined we must abandon this inquiry and shut down the program immediately. Oh, such a terrible shame. Farewell.
I understand now why they say never meet your heroes, Intercessor Delgado. You've truly been an enormous disappointment. A key experiment fails and ᴘᴜᴜᴜ falls prey to an unfortunate accident right after you and your consort arrive. And we are all to believe these events are unrelated?
That's circumstantial and more than a mite bit paranoid. I expect better from an Order scientician. Even one from the Department of Applied Scientism.
Don't think I don't see your handprints all over this, Delgado. Don't try to lay the responsibility for this on me. I'm not buying it. The Anchoress, poor trusting soul that she was, may have believed you were here in good faith. But I don't. You're looking more and more like enemies to me. The Anchoress was one of the finest minds the Order has ever produced. I'm well versed in manipulative prevarication from feckless mutineers. Try again.
Or try facing a gauntlet of well-trained exemplars. I could always choose for you. An interesting argument. Well, I don't mean to waylay you overlong further. I know you're to blame. I just wanted to see how far you were gonna take this. I can't believe ᴘᴜᴇᴅᴜ fell for any of it. Fellow exemplars of the Order, commence hostilities!
Proceeding for...
Honing in on possible hostile variable.
Threat detected.
She's dead, isn't she? Law help us.
E and Q were true.
I know what's outliers!
I don't know what's outliers.
Combatant scan.
The equation.
Emergency protocols ready.
I have a fix on their weaknesses.
Taking cover.
Adversary vulnerabilities identified.
Ready to assist with agent's health needs.
Careful!
Oh no!
Warning you again.
Oh, look who it is. The legendary former head intercessor of the Order. Another mission successfully completed. Made it through all that without a scratch, hmm? Glad to see. Say, I know this was difficult and rather a mess, but you listened. You tried to do right before you did what you must. I appreciate it, the attempt. No matter how that may sound.
The credit or blame belongs to the commander here. It was their decision, ultimately.
You forget I know you. You always thought you knew better. No one could ever convince you of anything. Before, that is. Good to see. Maybe you are facing yourself.
There are a few things I'm still not used to saying. I was wrong. I'm sorry. Please. And thank you. But thank you, Anais.
At any rate, I'm off. You all take care now. Marisol, don't be too enigmatic or anything. Try. Before I forget. Meant to give you this earlier.
Oh, thank you, Anais. Goodbye. Oh, not really. Not yet, at any rate. Everything's a bit raw right now. But suppose I will be. Thank you, dear.